Child sex abuse is a painful reality that many families prefer not to imagine, but silence and denial only give abuse room to thrive. In Nigeria, most cases of child sex abuse are not committed by strangers. They often involve people children know and trust: house helps, drivers, caregivers, neighbors, relatives, teachers, family friends, or older children within the household. This makes vigilance not optional, but essential. Parents must understand that convenience should never come at the cost of a child's safety. While house helps and drivers play important roles in many homes, clear boundaries are critical. No adult or older child should have unrestricted access to a child without supervision. Bedrooms and bathrooms should be private spaces, and tasks that require isolation, like bathing, changing clothes, or sleeping arrangements, must be carefully monitored. Open communication is one of the strongest protective tools. Teach children in age-appropriate language the correct names for body parts and the concept of private parts. Let them know that no one has the right to touch them inappropriately, even if that person is nice, helpful, or respected. Reassure them that they will never be punished for speaking up. Observe behavioral changes, sudden withdrawal, fear of certain people, bedwetting, nightmares, or unexplained injuries may be warning signs. Trust your instincts when something feels off. Investigate. Background checks, references, and probation periods should be standard for domestic staff. Regular check-ins with children about their day and who they spent time with can uncover concerns early. Protecting children requires courage, awareness, and intentional parenting. Our culture values community, but safety must come first. A child's voice deserves to be heard, believed, and protected. Always.
A lot of parents, when it comes to this age, just new parents, these millennial parents, they don't really have a great understanding of how to bring up their kids. I think most of them are just bringing up their kids with vibes. Right? It's like, oh, I'll plait your hair, I'll take you there. You know, we have a conversation, we do videos on Instagram and stuff like that. I think there needs to be a professional course on how to be a parent. Because at the end of the day, this is the most critical part of a child, of a human. The kind of experience that they have, the kind of conversations that you have with them, the kind of things that people tell them, the kind of experiences, especially when you touch them in a certain way and they don't understand what it is, it comes back. It's part of the thing that we're discussing during our men time. It's part of the things that makes them a messed up adult.
Deviance.
I'm in a space right now where I'm trying to go back into my childhood to understand the traumas that is subconsciously affecting my today reality. So because the subconscious does not give you a clear definition of what's going on, right? But when you then bring it to your conscious and then it shows you how it's being represented in your conscious, you get to realize that your childhood has a major role to play in the adult that you become. Because you can't say you know. The reason, I remember one of the conversations we had here on this table and I said something that my dad did to me and I started tearing up because I'm like, I don't even know why this feels this way. Like, I've known this thing for a long time, but just talking about it just brought out the emotion. And I went to him and I said, why did you do this? Because I never really addressed it. After the show, like, you're gonna be on TV on Sunday, but let's talk about it before you see it. Why did you do this to me when I was, you know, when I was in school? And he said, how I brought you up is exactly how my parents brought me. I did exactly what I know how to do.
I feel like kids are being made to raise kids. Not because they're minors, but because they are not emotionally developed enough to understand the sacrifices required to raise another human. And they also don't understand the consequences, the impacts of their action or inaction on the outcomes of their children. The first thing I did when my kids were like 3 or 4 is I got them this book. It's called Don't Touch Me There, you know, which it's a children's book, quite graphic, that illustrates the parts that no other person is, you know, nobody is expected to touch you there, and where you should put up resistance and what you should do, actionable points on what it is you should do. A lot of parents don't have this kind of conversations with their kids because we shy away from hard conversations. And it is from hard conversations that we get to experience clarity and growth. So it is very important as a parent for you to have those conversations and also be a safe space for your children, such that when things happen, they see you as the first point of contact. They see you safe enough to come to, oh, this person did this to me. You know, this person, and also ensure that your children are very clear on their boundaries and assert it when necessary. People will act a certain type of way, and when your children exert their boundaries, don't force them. Don't go, they'll say, oh, hug this uncle. I don't want to hug this person. Respect it. You don't know why they don't want to. You know, if you don't respect their boundaries, they will feel like it's okay for others to violate their boundaries.
I've been going on a town hall meeting with Ward C, and we've been going to local government areas in Lagos State. And it will interest you that each time anybody said anything about rape and indecent dressing being caused by indecent dressing, you will see how the women, community women, will literally almost rise up in arms that no, how then do you explain the violation of children, of babies literally, of even mothers violating their own babies? You know, there are horrific stories out there. And child sexual abuse is actually underreported in Nigeria. I have statistics here that says in 2025, a study highlights that cases continue to rise, but remain largely underreported, meaning that official statistics only capture a fraction of the real situation. So we're dealing with something really dire here. I agree with Bright, who said there should be teaching on how to parenting seminars. We need it, particularly the Gen Z parents. They have no idea. It's not about making up your daughter or, you know, giving them wigs to wear that makes you a good parent. It's not about outsourcing parenting. You cannot, because the trauma, just as they've said, Bright, lives with you for the rest of your life. And we cannot continue to go on as if this is not happening. It is happening both at the grassroots and in the urban centers.
I'm sympathetic to parents because most of them, when they become parents, they're young. Nobody taught them how to be good parents and all that. And so they're just basically using the children as experiments. But a lot of the trauma that people experience today into their adulthood come from the experiences you have as a parent. And I had a very traumatic one as a young person. I'm talking about as a 4-year-old somewhere in Shomolu at that time. And the reason I remember was not because I didn't remember the exact event, but I remember the trauma. And I remember the trauma of being beaten by my mom. And it was heavy. And I didn't know what I did, but I remember that it was said to be something about kids playing outside. I was 4 years old, so, you know, at that time, kids would play outside naked and stuff like that. And from what I heard, they saw me with a younger girl, with another girl, and all that. And something about her grabbing my private part, whatever it was. And right now I can imagine that it probably was two kids just trying to understand their whatever.
Their anatomy.
But what I remember was my mom took me and she beat me.
Like the living daylight out of
She beat me. I was 4 years old and I still remember the trauma.
Damn.
That's crazy.
And I sit down now and ask myself, did my mom, before, during, and after, ever have a conversation with me about body parts, knowing what is appropriate and inappropriate conversation? I mean, touching? No, they never did, you know. And
They just expected you to know.
They just expected me to know. And, you know, so my mom is a typical Ijebu Yoruba woman. And, you know, I could imagine what she would say. I want them, the whole community to come and start, whatever. And she didn't know better because that was what herself she was taught.
Before I round up, I just want to say there was a time 4 ladies, we got together and we're talking about our childhood. And all 4 of us had had incidents when we were children. All 4, 100% of either attempted sexual abuse or some were successful. So that was really scary. So they say the best things in life are free, freely offered, but are they freely received?
This is it to Amaka. We offer free advice, but it only benefits those who take it.